can hear us live.
That's right. That's right. Good idea. All right, everyone. We are back, getting ready to start the show.
Ain't no stopping us now.
We're on the move.
Moving, grooving.
All right. Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land.
Okay.
I'm just gonna...
Oh, he's here.
Oh, perfect.
Ain't no stopping us now.
I'm just gonna post
Spikes
this.
is here.
Oh,
Oh,
that's awesome.
we should see him shortly.
What's up?
Hey, Jeff.
Why didn't you get your hearing aids from the VA?
Hey, what? What'd you say? Ah, I don't wear earrings, buddy.
No, hearing aids, you old fart.
I don't mess with young women either.
No,
What are you
hearing
saying?
aids. Those are great eyeglass frames, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, those do look great.
Where'd you find them?
At the VA.
Are you kidding me? They had, man, Phoenix has a better selection.
I had to pay for them because they weren't part of the free, but these are Ray-Bans with like tortoiseshell, like,
Wow.
But they don't give me that option.
oh yeah. Well, every year they get a new contract.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I went in at the right time.
See, these are mine. I don't know if you could see them.
Yeah. They also gave me the anti-glare
Whoa, are you kidding me?
for video, right? And also they turn into sunglasses.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Great.
Oh, man, I got to go back.
I'm like the luckiest man on earth. Didn't you know that? The universe is always conspiring in my favor.
Yes, we were just talking about that. That's the greatest cosmic joke of all, that God the good is already here and present, and that we live in a friendly universe.
That's right.
All right, let's
than-
do this.
Well, we're going to start the show. And then
All right, I'll mute and let you, because I got to just mute and hang out, right?
yeah,
you can.
but get excited because this show is
Perfectly tailored for
for
you.
you.
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah, look at that swivel neck.
Wow.
Pizzazz.
Be careful because the head might fall off.
Been known to happen.
Lois Conklin, welcome to the show. She's here on YouTube watching along.
All right.
Awesome.
Jeff is now on mute, so we can get started. I'm just adjusting this.
All right.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Welcome to The Funniest Thing,
Yes.
where each week we share stories about how... Wait, we got to start over.
Oh, wow, we almost did it. Oh, good catch, man. That's so funny. All right.
Welcome to The Funniest Thing,
Yes.
where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes.
Yes, it does.
I'm Darrell.
I'm Ed.
And we're broadcasting live from middle school studios in beautiful downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
All right.
And Edward?
Today's show, we got a question for you.
Yes, listen closely, everyone.
What would you do if you could do anything you wanted and be guaranteed success with Jeff Spikes? The beauty of all...
Wait a second. You mean, what could I do if I could do anything I wanted and be guaranteed a success with Jeff Spikes or on my own?
You're blowing my mind, man. Both in this case, because I love doing things with Jeff Spikes, and we're always guaranteed success, like today's show. So Dr. Emilie Cady once wrote, "Desire is God tapping on the door of your mind, trying to give you your greater good." Wow. So the question is, what would you do if you could do anything you wanted and be guaranteed success? Don't play small. Don't worry about what people would say or all the reasons why it wouldn't work. You don't even need to know the end result. All you need to do is say yes to the next step. I like that because if I knew that I could do anything I wanted to be guaranteed success, I could also say I wouldn't play small. I wouldn't worry about what people would say or all the reasons why it wouldn't work. I wouldn't even need to know the end result. All I would need to do is say yes. So on this episode, Darrell and Ed share how to recognize, trust, and act on your intuitive nudge to greater good. And during the second segment, special guest Jeff Spikes highlights the fact that when you take the bold step in the direction of your desire, all the benevolent forces of the universe go to work on your behalf. Today's reading will be magnetic, and that is from Catherine Ponder, correct?
Yes.
And let's send some love to our friend Alicia Jackson. She was going to be on the show today. She had something with her eye come up, and so if everyone could just send love to Alicia, she'll be on the show very soon. She's an amazing woman that used to share an office with me, and she stepped out boldly, and so we thought about her coming on the show. We love you, Alicia, and everyone in the Funniest Thing land is affirming quick and easy and complete healing and your joyful recovery, and looking forward to having you on the show. Oh, by the way, let's just do this. Thank you, Patreon people. Ginger Melota said, okay, so if you're on Patreon, you haven't heard this week's Zoom, the Tuesday Zoom that we do. Darrell did a good first-time reading of a book he's just completing the text of and now working on the art for, which is about the symbology of the Great Seal of the United States of America. Ginger Melota, and he shared it on the show. I got so much out of that. I recommend, if you're on there, if you haven't listened yet, go ahead and do that.
It's the first draft.
Yeah, it's great. It sounds good to go to me. Love this. I will re-listen to the Great Seal explanation. It's very inspiring, and thanks for the reminder about how important affirmations are. And that came from, the affirmations part came from a newsletter we got from Catherine Ponder.
Yep.
You can write to Catherine Ponder. Look her up online, and you can write. She'll send you her affirmations. She'll also send you a monthly newsletter. And in that, I got a great reminder. Yeah, you want to share that?
If you want to send Catherine Ponder a letter or a tithe or requesting her newsletter,
ask for those prosperity affirmations as well. If you do, I highly recommend it.
All you have to do is send it to Catherine Ponder, P.O. Box 1278, Palm Desert, California 92261. That's P.O. Box 1278, Palm Desert, California 92261. Or even easier, if you go to her website, just Google Catherine Ponder, and you can make a request right there directly.
That's right. That's right. If you want to send us anything, Funniest Thing, P.O. Box 1312, Culver City, California 90232. You can email us at darrellanded@gmail.com or go to darrellanded.com. There's a contact form. Terry Benoir sent us some emails about amazing things happening with her reading Around the Year with Emmett Fox, which is a great morning reader for your morning routine. She was saying that would be, I believe she said that's what the book she would have if she can only take one book with her on a desert island. She was like, that classic question. She asked us what books we would bring, and we threw out there Sermon on the Mount by Emmett Fox, The Ten Commandments by Emmett Fox, The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn, Celebrate Yourself by Eric Butterworth, also God Will See You Through by Mary Kupferle. I mean, there's so many, but those are some of ours. If you want to send us what your book would be if you can only take one of them on a desert island, which hopefully that never happens. But let us know what books you like and what books are working for you. How about that? Just send us an email or on Facebook. You can message it in the comments, or on YouTube you can put it in the comments as well. Let's just thank Chief Engineer Jeff Comfort out there in Kansas City, Kansas. Each week
he takes us right into the comfort zone.
So this is real metaphysics this week. Stepping into the awareness that it is our birthright to do the things that if there was no fear or anything blocking us, if we knew we could be successful, what would we do? Because that really is the most natural thing for us to do. But oftentimes we've been conditioned one way or another to second guess ourselves, to believe that it's too hard. But metaphysics is connecting with this divine. Part of it is connecting with this divine inspiration and realizing it's actually the truth with capital T. It's our natural self to just follow our divine inspiration, and things will work out. And divine is not divine out there. Divine is every one of us doing what feels good for us to do in the true sense of like mind, body, and soul. This feels so good. It brings me energy. It blesses others as a positive side effect. We love blessing others. We feel so good about what we're doing. So part of metaphysics is reconnecting with this divine energy that allows us to do those things fearlessly and sometimes quietly, or without a lot of fanfare. And just because the goal is not to become someone else. It's actually to recognize who I already am and live from that, rather than these other voices that may have been conditioned to sort of think that was me. But if it doesn't feel good, it's not in alignment with who I really am, which means it's not me.
Yes, this is also a question, this idea of what would you really do if you knew it were impossible to fail? Or in this case, how it's written, how we wrote it, if success was guaranteed. Dorothea Brand wrote that book at the beginning of last century about what would you do if you knew it was impossible to fail. And that has been helping me recently. I've been taking this to heart the past few months. And I had my friend Kirk, he's been on the show, and we bounced some ideas off of a job that when I first met Kirk that I had was at a public access studio, and Kirk would visit me. So one of his ideas is he really wanted to do a TV show or a screenplay on that time in public access because it was so absurd. So this idea of writing a TV show may seem so out there to most people, to most of you. You think, oh God, like how would that ever happen? I live in Topeka, Kansas, or wherever you are. Well, I'm here to tell you, you could write whatever you desire, and if you really get into it, you'll have fun doing it. And I can also guarantee you from my own experience, not specifically with this, but I'm going to tell you a little mini story in a minute, but with many other things that I've done, that the opportunity will surface in some crazy way. But you cannot keep telling yourself, this is a long shot, this is impossible, what's the point? I mean, you may have moments of that, but if you dwell on that, it's going to just destroy the miracle working, mountain moving power of faith. And faith just means joyful expectancy. That your joyful expectancy is another way of saying, I'm going to believe that doing this, I'm going to do this as if I'm guaranteed to succeed. So I'm not a trained writer. I never went to English in school, but I said, wait a minute, I'm going to do one.
Wait, you never went to an English class? What school did you go to?
No, English. I never took English as a major.
Oh, okay.
I just got through it. Matter of fact, after I got elected senior class president my junior year for the senior class, I had to take summer school for English.
Okay.
Because I had no interest in it. The teachers didn't make it seem exciting.
Well, let's slow this down for a minute, because I think what you're saying other people can apply too, which is your mind might tell you, I don't have a master's in this English.
That's right.
Yeah, or I don't have this degree or that degree. So whatever you're thinking about, you gotta there's a voice that, and it'll be very compelling probably if it comes up, because there's emotions. It'll show you proof, and it'll show you examples of other people who had those things, and so we got to learn to
throw all that out the window
because it feels so bad.
And
that's
it's not true.
Indicator. That's exactly right.
It's not true, because you'll be able to do whatever it is you love to do.
Yes.
Just by loving to do it. And so getting back to the little thing a few months ago, I didn't really, I wasn't super excited. You can only act on the things you're fired up on.
Right.
You don't want to just settle for or do it I've always wanted to write a TV show, or it'd be cool to write a screenplay, just because you think it'll make you famous or or whatever. And wait till they get a load of me now. I can't use those as my rocket fuel. It's just not enough fuel there for me. So it's either I have to be 100% in love with the idea and then not stop myself. So I had this for last year, June of 2024, which I thought was just a few months ago, because I had this idea I jotted down and was in my mind, a scenario for a TV show. And because of the readings and the topics we've been doing on the show recently, I thought, well, what would I do if I knew it was easy, to just bump into a guy to produce this show? Because I've had friends that made shows. I was actually friends with Dave Diamond, the guy who was in the Diamonds, the singing group, who wrote the song The Fall Guy. And he wrote the song The Fall Guy so the TV show, the show was made because of the song came first.
Oh, wow.
Yes, the song came first and made his name was Dave Somerville. And but he went by Dave Diamond because it's like the Ramones.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah. So I knew it could be done, but you know how easy it is to talk yourself out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And you think, oh, these are big corporate entities, media conglomerates.
Right.
Throw that crap out the window. I sat down, and because I was so fired up, I had some notes from a year ago about it, which I thought I only wrote a few months ago, because this is the thing, too. If it's something you're supposed to do, it'll keep coming up.
Yeah.
But don't keep denying it. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to type all this into the computer. And I got so excited by the idea, just the idea of the story itself, that I was high as a kite in the process. And that's another key thing.
Yeah.
Like, I was just so feeling good about myself, knocking it out in that day. And then I sent it to Kirk. I didn't hear back from him. So, of course, my mind went, oh, it's probably crap. What I wrote's probably crap.
Right.
Now, well, keep in mind, he's a professional. I mean, he works in the business and he's legit. So I didn't expect it to be, you know what I mean? I just expected it. I was basically saying, hey, what do you think of this concept? What do you think of this idea? And I didn't hear back from him. So I go, all right. But I still love the idea. And that's the main thing. Well, then, of course, I heard back from a week later, and he said, this is a type of show I would watch. And that's the best compliment you could get. Where it's going to go from here, I don't know. But here's the thing. I'm excited about it, and I don't need to worry about the next step. Because God will prevent the next step if this is the thing that's meant to be. Like the right person in the right time or the right opportunity, I don't have to hunt it down. I've learned this before. And then I started using I am statements a little bit more specifically, not saying, you don't have to say, you can say them audibly, but most of the time I like saying I'm just in my mind. Thinking is talking.
Right.
Thinking is talking. Thinking is using words. So I started using these I am statements. I listened to a podcast. I sent it to Ed and Kirky, and it's called. We listed the link on the show with Kirk if you want to find it to the podcast episode. But you could say things to yourself in the morning, like what
you talking about those two coaches you listened to who told us the exact same thing we've been listening to for eons, but for some reason it was two coaches, so you guys thought it was like, wow, this is brand new.
Yes.
Because that's going to happen when you start doing something where even Darrell and Ed, when we step out boldly, sorry to interrupt you, because this is not to counteract you.
No, but this is a good point.
Okay,
for everyone.
good, because I don't want you to feel like I'm cutting in on you. I just want to say, for me, I'm experiencing this. I'm talking to Darrell about the basics right now because of some things I'm moving through to move forward. Stuff that I've boldly proclaimed on this show. But when it's a new thing, these old voices are not on the same vibration of all the high flying stuff. So it's really helpful. Even if it's like in Darrell's case, he's talking about that podcast. It doesn't really matter where we hear it from,
That's right.
but it's good. Also, let me say to have friends that can remind you that you already know this stuff and that you're already, because a lot of it's funny, Darrell and I have been joking about shadow work and stuff, but a lot of the real meaning of shadow work is like, we hide our littleness in these shadows of our consciousness. Like I've had this place where I was hiding this one part of me. I was telling Darrell, and that was, in a way, it was better than letting it run my show. Like I kind of like knew I didn't want it to be me speaking from that place, but it still wasn't clearing it out. So I be finding ways to talk to Darrell about it so that he can remind me, and we shine light on each other. And because sometimes when we're going through something new, we forget, and we can beat ourselves up for it. Like, I already knew this. Why didn't I? Why am I not knowing this now? But it's a good sign. It means you're moving into something new.
Yes, and that's
Does that make sense what I just said?
Yeah, because that's what I took it as. I didn't take it as, of course, I've heard I am statements before and dismiss it. The good news is I'm open enough now, instead of beating myself up for not using them or dismissing it as, oh, yeah, I know I am statements, of course.
Right.
No, I just said, wait a minute. I'm going to use I am statements because I've also been working on the book that Ed mentioned earlier on the Great Seal.
Yes.
And the symbolism for personal growth and, living a happy, successful life. All the symbols are in there. And I'm really enjoying highlighting what they are and how to see it as like a tool for success.
Yes.
Because it's basically loaded with metaphysical meaning. Mm-hmm. So that being the case, I said, well, I don't want, and I don't do this in a way to limit myself either. I don't want to give myself, when people go, well, what are you? What do you do? I always felt like this, well, I'm an artist, or I'm a this, or I'm a that. It never felt good, even like, oh, I'm in the Coast Guard, or, you know what I mean? Or I work at this. It never felt good because honestly, that's a healthy thing that doesn't feel good because my ego isn't attached to it. So I could feel it as a limiting, like any title is a limit.
Right.
So, however, we can use titles in our I am statements to enable us to overcome ideas we've had that are limiting ideas about ourselves that we would use as roadblocks to following through on inspired ideas.
Yes.
So I started saying, I am a writer. Writing a TV show is a piece of cake. David Somerville, the whole show got made because they sang that song in the producer's office.
Yes.
So that took all the weight off it. I didn't have to, in my mind, listen to any of the limits that get in the way. And you could do this for anything. Anything that you're having difficulty doing that you would like to do is only difficult because of the limits of your own imagination and habitual ways of thinking about yourself have stifled your ability to do even the simplest step. Mm-hmm. And then if you take the simple step, you may still swat yourself back down with these limiting beliefs again. So by saying whatever it is, I am, and you could do, I am a husband, I am a loving husband. I'm a pet owner, I'm a homeowner, I'm a writer. And these are things I already am. But what it does is it wakes me up to what that really means to me. You know what I mean? And what it does is I feel a lift within myself, like the real word of inspiration, which means the spirit is waking up within me.
Yes.
To really lean into these positive attributes that I just don't even hear myself say to myself.
Yes.
So I've been saying, I'm a writer. I could write just as good as anyone else. I mean, that's what I'm a writer says to me.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't have to be great. It just has to be fun. So
that's right.
So that's what enabled me to this week do the complete first draft on the Great Seal of the United States. I was originally only going to do just the reverse side with the pyramid, but then I realized, and this is where limits can come in, I realized, well, I got to say something about the front. So the truth came up, well, you should include the front and the back. But then the old limiting was, oh, but that's a lot of work. Oh, I really didn't want to do that. And I just got to throw that guy out the window.
Yeah.
Because that's the guy, what he's really saying is, that's going to be hard. That's going to be too much. What's the point of doing it?
Yeah.
And why are you even, and it could attract all these other thoughts within yourself,
That's
just
right.
like it could to me, that'll just make me go back to the numb, dullard feeling of just, my life's okay. I don't really need to write a book about these things. But here's the thing. In the process of doing it, while I was doing it, I was also being very conscious of how do I feel as I'm doing this. I was intentionally taking note because I knew this is something when I do it makes me feel good. But we forget that part. And then by paying attention, go, you know what? I feel high as a kite right now. I love my neighbors. Whenever we're doing the thing that we really are intended to do, and it could be simple. That's what I mean. It doesn't have to be big. The greatest things throughout history that have become significant and people have gotten well compensated for are not the hardest things to create. I mean, it's just Colonel Sanders was 60 years old, but he loved making his chicken in this weird way in a type of pot, like a pressure cooker with his little spices, that at 60 years old, when most people are retired and collecting Social Security back then and saying, you know, I'm done, I could relax now. He just loved making his chicken. He opened up one chicken stand because people kept saying, this is great, on Route 66.
Right.
And dude, look what it turned into, chicken. I mean, there's tons of people that can fry chicken, but see, his love affair in the process was so much.
Right.
That's the magnet that Jeff Spikes is going to read about from Catherine Ponder. So just in the past few months, using this idea, I've wrote, the full pitch for the TV series, a streaming series. And now the next step, because Kirk got back to me is, I got to come up with, am I going to write a pilot?
Right.
Or he had some other thoughts. Maybe you want to do just film it yourself. Make it simple so you could film it yourself. And part of me, the limiting me goes, well. But, I let go of those ideas and I go, okay, all these ideas are good. I'm heading in the right direction.
You got to send this thing my way, by the way. I haven't even seen this yet, and I love it already.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah, because I love writing, and I've been wanting to write more, too, along these lines. So if anything I can do to help, I would love to do that.
Yes, so this is exciting. So I'm saying to everyone listening, the thing to keep in mind, too, is I'm using this tool. What would you do if you were guaranteed success?
Yes.
And just take the tiny steps. That's how everyone started.
That's right.
Everyone started with that. Yep. And I will tell you this, you are going to get propulsion once you start.
That's right.
And also opportunity, serendipitous occurrences will occur. You will know what's the next right thing to do. The hard part is during the process, and these are the two things to watch out for. And I know this from my own experience that I have to watch out for. One, turning it into starting to convince myself that it needs to be more than it is, meaning trying to make it perfect based on some ideas of what I think it should be like.
Yes, I totally agree.
So you got to let
Throw
go of
that out.
perfectionism. Forget about it being perfect.
And it is not even reliable
No.
of a voice. It's a terrible voice. It's better to get
Yes.
other people's that love you input than to believe that
Yes.
voice. I've seen it screw up music and so many things I've been involved in. You got to just start telling yourself, well, that feels so bad. I know that I can't. That's just an
Yes.
unreliable voice. Yes.
And even when you get advice about people, make sure you have the first draft done before you share it with someone, and make sure it's someone you trust.
Yeah, and enjoy. Again, the first thing, like you said, is so great. It doesn't have to be great. It just has to be fun. And the fun
Yes.
is what really makes it great, like in the
Yes.
chicken. So just savor get it. Don't rush to give it to someone else either.
No, we don't want to do that.
Enjoy it. Your joy. This is what I think about with writing songs now. If I enjoy something someone says, I already know it's going to be enjoyable to someone else because we're all human. So know that your joy, go, because you said this, get so excited about the story itself. That's what
Yeah.
you're talking about, the thing you are creating. The people, and then get excited about, all you got to do is get excited about the idea people are going to enjoy this as much as I do, and just leave it on the level of that.
Yes.
That's so powerful. Every song I've been writing lately, I've been getting such good feedback, and it's not surprising to me because I'm using the stuff that feels good to me first, and then learning how to trust it.
So number one,
That was number one.
perfection is out the window.
Out the window.
Because you're also your idea of what is good now, when you're working joyfully, a lot of the time after you create something or finish the writing or even finish a drawing,
Right.
a cartoon, a sketch, whatever it is, I'll have fun in the process. I love it as soon as I'm done. But then I start thinking, oh, it needs to be fixed. Like I need to make adjustments. Don't make those adjustments then, because I will tell you, your taste has not caught up to your intuition. Your
Yes.
intuition is the advanced level, and your taste isn't quite there yet.
Yes.
So I always set these things aside. That's why when I looked back at that TV series idea, it was a year later, but it has always been percolating. And there's no rush. There's no time limit. There's no rush. So forget about perfectionism. We know why. And then the other thing is, what was the other thing?
Well, you also said the taste, your
Yeah,
intuition is ahead of your taste, so
that's-
don't try to overly edit
that's right.
it or anything like that, because your fear speaks up and goes, I should change this, because
Yes.
you'll end up changing the best parts.
That's right. You've done it with songs. I've done it with drawings.
My buddy, I wrote a great song the other day. I sent it to my buddy, and for some reason I felt inspired to send him. I love this one line where I called it like just a silly little hummer. I was talking about the song as a hummer, something you hum along with. And I love that line. And he was like, oh, well, I was going to ask you if you wanted to change that. And I go, nope.
Yeah,
and
good.
Then he was able to say, you know what? That's the kind of line that I can't resolve it with my rational mind, but those are the ones that end up being so because I wasn't afraid, it ended up helping him see, you know what? I got to stop cutting those lines out of my own songs. Because that's what we learned from John Lennon and Paul McCartney. John Lennon would always tell when Paul McCartney was like, I'll change that line. John Lennon's like, no way, that's the best line in the song, because he was the more pure creative one, the more intuitive, I think, in some ways. Anyway.
So the other thing, I just remember what it was, and now it disappeared again. What the heck was it? We were just talking about
lack of perfection.
No, but go back.
Intuition.
Okay. Here's the other thing.
Yeah. Good.
Then it's don't force to make it happen.
Oh, yes.
Do not, meaning the next step.
Yes.
Do not force the next step.
That's right.
Just know that you have the best literary agent, which is God. Just know that you have the best real estate agent if it's looking for a home.
Yes.
Or whatever it is. This is where you really just believe with faith, joyful expectancy, that the divine orchestration is already taking place. I did this years ago.
Oh, wait. Let's pause there, because we want to do the tight hour.
Yeah, I'm going to
get
this is
spikes.
just a quick.
Okay, a quick one.
Yeah. that years ago when I did that one-man show,
Yes.
I fueled myself to go forward with the feeling that I was just like with the show now and with the Great Seal,
Yeah.
that I love this.
There you go.
And I know everybody who sees it is going to love it.
Yes.
I don't know how it's going to come about. And then, within a relatively short time, 3 months, I was doing the play at cultural centers and then across the United States and Canada and being well compensated for it. So this happens and it works. I mean, the results happen, and this is a no fail. This is like Dorothea Brand. If you start with the attitude of what would I do if I knew it was impossible to fail, or you could use if I was guaranteed success, that's the thing that's going to make it succeed.
Yes.
Or impossible to fail at.
Yes. Correct.
And I, just like the play, I could have never predicted how we were going to end up all over the place.
Yes.
All over the United States. It all happened serendipitously, just like everything else. So we're just encouraging you with today's episode to believe this way for yourself and ask yourself these questions and just make a list. Start with just a list is enough to start this whole, what do you want to call it? Where everything
starts conspiring on your behalf and the energy starts moving.
Yes.
Because the energy is already moving within you. We're just opening a way for it to come out into the world. One thing before we go to the break, we got two things. One thing that a thought that occurred to me is that amongst everything else is I started speaking aloud I never thought about it this way, but this week, because Ponder, for some reason, and I realized when I was doing, because I've just been doing it, like I set a timer for 5 minutes. She says for every 15 minutes
of reading,
speak them. And I was always the same, I say them in my brain. But then I had this moment where I was like, why am I whispering this? Because some of us have been, our voices we were not able to bring them out around certain people or situation or felt like that in our past. There's something I recommend trying, speaking them out loud. I don't mean when you're in public, but I mean just during if you have a time in your morning routine, set a little timer, just try it. I mean, this is a new exploration for me, but there was something about me realizing I could speak these out loud. It was very liberating for me. I just want to read a quick reading for Thoughts for a Friend, Foster McClellan, because of what you just said. It's called His Agent for Good. Your life is God's business. You are His agent for good. If we really know this and practice it, we don't have to worry about being responsible for results. Just devote all of our energies to our work or our creative project and know that God is looking after the rest.
Yes.
That God is responsible for the results. This frees us. It means that we do better work. We do not tire. There's no mental distress. We're not on our own. But remember, my friend, it's not just a job we're doing. We are God's agent for good. We are His employee, His trusted agent, working in God's business. And our days will be wonderful, for God has planned it this way for us if we but trust in Him. Our business is God's business and good business, day after day. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? To be an agent for good, but that's what living a life is all about.
And I have a quick affirmation from Catherine Ponder to say to yourself, which sums up everything we're talking about, and it's this: it is my divine destiny to succeed, and it is God's business to help me. I expect and claim His divine help now. So whatever you're working on, just remind yourself, it is my divine destiny to succeed. So I don't need to worry about how am I going to succeed at this.
Right, that's right.
And it is God's business to help me, meaning He's going to, when you're doing God's business, He pays all the coin. And I expect and claim His divine help now.
Awesome. Well, don't forget, sometimes this is going to take some guts. And if you need some encouragement, sometimes you just got to remind yourself, guts is part of it. Darrell's been dressing like a football coach, so I dressed like the strength coach from Cal Berkeley. Sometimes we can coach ourselves a little bit, just give ourselves, it takes guts to live this way, and it's worth it when we're overcoming past limiting beliefs. So let's take a deep breath. It takes guts to get out of ruts. Put some juice on that.
It takes guts.
Yes.
to get out of ruts.
It takes guts to get out of ruts. It's well worth it. It is well worth it. Coming up next, Jeff Spikes highlights the fact that when you take the bold step in the direction of your desire, all the benevolent forces of the universe go to work on your behalf. Today's reading is magnetic. Thank you for listening to The Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed, live from Middle School Studios in beautiful downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
Is Spike's going to join us? There he is.
All right.
Wow, something
Interesting.
is happening here.
Are you peeing, or are we going to get straight
Okay,
into
I'll
it?
pee. Wait,
I don't know what
are we
that's
supposed
all
to
about.
say that on the air?
I think he did a reverse flip. There we go. Well, it's tinkle time here in middle school studios. Then we're going to be jumping right back in with our friend Jeff Spikes.
You see this over my shoulder?
What is it? Is that Darrell Fazaro? Oh, is that,
Yeah,
is
it's
that a
his little-
Fazaro?
That's it. That is an original piece of work from Darrell Fazaro.
Darrell's
Shake it
been
off.
called an original piece of work before.
It's the dog shaking it off.
I love that. That's a great reminder. Sue Hodgson just chimed in from Canada. Hello, Sue Hodgson. So we got people in Central Coast, California, Canada. This is great. We will get started with the second segment in just one moment. Hopefully everyone out there is enjoying the first segment, getting fired up to do the things you love and realize it can be a lot easier. You can let it be easy as well, because some of my old belief systems that are being released also make things way harder. We don't have to change the world, or we just shift our own thinking to get in harmony with the truth. And it makes it a lot easier than running around here and there trying to change other people, change other things. It is some of that is just a way of like actually avoiding the one place where we do need to make the shift, which is in our own consciousness. Because somewhere inside there might be a voice saying, I'm not going to change. I can't change. But you just got to like find this lighter, joyous faith and be able to speak to the parts of ourselves and say, no, I've learned something new and I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try it out. All right, I'm going to pee too. Darrell's back and we'll get started.
Where's your polo shirt?
I should go get one and a hat.
So you can be coaching. Boy, I can't believe you got the good shades with the built-in sunglasses.
Right? The Veterans Administration strikes again.
I'm going. I think every year I'm allowed to go. Isn't that
Yeah,
it? With
I go every
glasses?
year. It's, why not?
Now, did you do 3 or 4?
3.
I did 5 and then 1, then 2 reserve, and then, okay, it was 8 total. Did you know I signed up for 8?
Yeah.
How did that happen? I did 5 active
You
after
were
an
ambitious,
extension.
man.
Well, you know what it was? I was so done with my life as I knew it
And
that
your unconscious knew that where you were going to get stationed and how much fun you were going to have.
I know.
There you go.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go.
Do you have a heart out you need to get out of here, Jeff? Or
Nope.
all right, we're gonna try to do a tight hour because usually so maybe like a few minutes after 2 is what our aim
Yeah.
for. We're just speaking it out loud to make it easy, but we'll go where we need to go. All right. All right,
be
everyone.
easy.
Welcome. Well, sorry. Go ahead.
I just said I'll be easy. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know you always are, man. We love you for that. All right. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed. Today's show is called, it's actually a great question. What would you do if you could do anything you wanted and be guaranteed success? With our good friend, Jeff Spikes. How are you today, sir?
Fantastic.
Darrell, you weren't here, but during the break, Jeff was pointing out he's got an original piece of Darrell Fazaro art over his shoulder. What is the piece again?
It is a dog shaking it off.
Yeah, it's like when they shake the water off themselves.
Just like Taylor Swift said, shake it off.
Yeah, but this was probably 2 decades before
This is
Taylor
an original,
Swift.
man.
Yeah, that's the original.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, I'm saying she
It
made
says the year on there. What does it say? 07?
07.
He made the soundtrack for that dog.
shaking it off.
Shake it off, baby. Yeah, that's a really good thing. Because if we're gonna step boldly, we do have to learn to keep shaking off the little resistance that's going to show up. So, Jeff, you've been listening and sharing. What's on your mind?
You guys are awesome, first of all. I love all the things that you're talking about. I took some notes, because I don't always do that when we're hanging out and when we're doing this, because there's always such a good flow. Whatever happened today that had me want to write a few things down, I did. And I've been having fun with words lately and thinking about things like mind games and how we think about that kind of stuff and how we always put these conspiracy theory type thoughts on stuff on that, and what mental programming is or anything else. And I wrote down, one of the things I wrote down was that mind games become joyful thought games.
Yeah, I love that.
It's just ways to re-look at things, right? Shadow work. You guys were talking about that. Shadow work presupposes in the two-word phrase that light is prominent.
Yes.
Because you can't have a shadow without light.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
And it's like, so there's another, like, it's like, man, shadow work is all about the light.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
And how we change the light is how the shadow changes. And
yes,
at some point it's there was two other things I wrote down. One, if the wisdom of all time is already in you, is there any need to be reminded of something you already know? And as I asked that, I was like, And you guys said something about, sometimes we have to be reminded of things that we know. And it's like, but we know, but if everything's in us, and it's this, and then what that really made me think of was the idea that the idea of reparenting, and that there's no need to reparent. I can't change what happened. Trying to change what happened is kind of like diminishing my experience or myself of who I was. If I can learn to accept it and just be my own adult, and manage myself, then I don't have to pretend like what happened didn't happen. Because if I pretend like it didn't happen, then I can't acknowledge the cool skills I had of getting through it and learning from it.
Yes, so true. And that's a great point. Yeah,
and you just made me realize the reminding of what we already know it's almost just more of waking that part of me up again.
That's what I was gonna say.
More of a waking up.
It's actually
waking it up.
It's opening myself up to the option that's even an option, that, oh my God, you're right. What was I thinking?
Absolutely. It's the acknowledgement of that within us, that God within us, that is all those answers, all those things. It's an acknowledgement of the connection we have. And it's also the knowing that we do separate ourselves. We have freedom of choice. And that when we're making choices that separate us, that's that reminder. That's that reminding. Are we really reminding each other of what's great, or are we reminding each other that we've separated? It's like, and just drop it, come back, like just be back in that place. But we're so accustomed to having created all these paths. I was talking to someone earlier today about how nothing's all that dangerous in these games until we take a strategy that we're using to survive or to live or to do something, and when we attach it to our personality, now into our identity, right? Now that strategy is difficult to stay in choice with. And we start saying things like, well, I don't have a choice. I have to be this way.
Right.
I have to do this. I have to think this. It's like, do we? Right. So, and it's hugely inspiring for me that I was able to start writing notes and thinking differently. And I love it. I get a constant reminder with you guys. And not only that, I got this new one, it takes guts to get out of ruts.
Yeah. Yes. We had to get out of Ruts Hawaiian by us one day. We tried to eat there, but it was too crowded. It took guts. We said, we can't eat here today. It's too crowded and the energy's bad. Let's get out of here.
So you guys are wonderfully inspiring. And
what you're saying is great too. Like a couple of things you said, I've had to remind myself because I've seen a lot of patterns from my subconscious coming forward. And it was like, whoa, this comes from this and this comes from this. But as the mature adult that I am now, I had to tell myself, all right, I'm not interested in redoing and digging all that up. It's not like I'm telling you that that was all perfect and that's amazing. And I started giving myself credit for, wow, I was able to get through that, like you said. But I've had to divert my attention away from the idea of like, this is the difference between shadow work where you get stuck in the shadow and shadow work, which is bringing light to the shadow so that we can actually unlock energy that was kind of stuck in that shadow. And key, I like the fact that you're bringing the light into it, because I think our anything we start getting in the habit of doing, it's like we can get stuck there and to just keep digging deeper. But yesterday I was like, all right, part of me was like, I never learned how to become a man. I was like, all right, well, I'm a man now. I'm hearing this, I'm thinking this. How do I want to make it? Like, what does that mean to me to be a man? It means to be calm, to look at everything that's before me, to not be overreacting. So let's try that right now. And then one of the ways I applied that was, so there's just, because I'm stepping out boldly with music, reconsidering what I want to do with my career, all sorts of things, there's a voice that, has been coming up. And part of going beyond old limiting beliefs is realizing that certain ideas that were governing my life are actually not true. They were governing my life and they weren't based in truth, in reality, right? And so there's humility there, being able to laugh and be like, yeah, I did, I was letting that, right? So, but there's a lot of momentum because I was thinking it for a long time. And like you said, I had attached these strategies to my personality. So what I've been doing, when that part comes up and it feels a bit more than I can handle, and I don't want to just be like pretending I'm okay. One thing I'll do is I'll pause, let go when I can get a time. I'll put on a guided meditation on YouTube and just totally let go. Because everything that, like all the choices I have available to me from that state of mind are just like, they're not really, they don't feel good. So I'll just take some time to pause and get back into a better state of mind.
Yeah.
Also asking for help to the universe, just like, you know what, I could use some help right now, even silently, inwardly, just opening myself up like that helps. And then the last thing that came up for me last night, I said to that part of me, you can feel how you're feeling, Ed, but what we're not going to, the only thing we're not going to do is beat ourselves up. We're not, in this moment, we're going to feel the feelings that are triggering all this stuff, but we're just not allowed. I just set a little commandment for that moment. Right now, for the next few minutes, I'm just not allowed to beat myself up. I could feel the feeling. Today before the show, Darrell's here. Part of me is like, I'm going to tell Darrell all the bad way. I was like, all right, Ed, we can feel the feelings, but we're going to do anything other than tell Darrell that story, because I don't really like that story. So it's just like having fun. It was lighthearted, and before I knew it, the energy, what I'm learning to do is feel the feeling without the old reaction to it. I like the feeling's not bad. The feeling's actually energy moving me forward. So anyway, those are the things that you were just inspired by what you had to say.
Yeah, it's amazing. And if we can detach the feeling from the history, and only take the lesson rather than taking the emotion, take what we were meant to learn from that, and detach that emotion to that thing, then we can stop that repetition, because we've learned the lesson finally, right? So it's like, man, why do I have to learn this again? Why am I back here again? It's like, oh, well, might be a consideration to think of how I keep refeeling it.
That's it.
And so rather than having the lesson in front of us, right? Like really interesting. There was this idea about doing what feels good. And I think it's you guys are doing the work, and you're talking about doing the work. And that's so different, because a lot of these ideas have been misunderstood over the years, to think that, don't look at it if it doesn't make you feel good, don't do it if it doesn't make you feel, don't, like, those are all things we shouldn't open the door to, it's negative. And it's like, no. If everyone could find tension here, if we could use the tension we get, where however we feel, everyone feels it differently, right? Mine's right in here in the center console. If anytime we feel tension, we learn that that's ours to resolve. It's a gift that we've been given something else to resolve. If we can always take that tension and resolve it, but truly resolve it, not just put it away, not just hide it, and um, uh, Hicks,
Abraham.
Abraham Hicks. I was going to say Esther. Abraham Hicks talks about, these things, when these things come up, you lean into it and then you keep going. But no one spends time on what does leaning into it even mean? Because we move right into it. It's like, don't miss that, right? Don't miss the idea of what it is to lean into it, is that resolution that, oh, what is it? What can I learn from it? What can I take instead of the emotion? How can I not beat myself up anymore?
That's the key. That's the key, because you could ask yourself that. How can I look at, because sometimes we don't want to look back at things we've done in the past because we think what we did was so reprehensible in our own mind. And even if other people share with you, it's not that bad, your mind, like my mind, will say, no, 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 this is horrible. That's the problem. Yeah. When I start owning my identity as doing horrible things and that I'm a bad person attached to what something from my past, then the lesson is never learned. We've been mistakenly taught in the world to somehow the right way to absolve yourself is to hate yourself for doing bad things in the past.
Yeah.
But that does not change anything. And what I mean by does not change anything, because now you get caught in a loop where you're going to guarantee that you're going to continue to do things that make you feel bad about yourself, so you can keep this self-fulfilling prophecy going. And that's what the shadow, Jungian would even, Jungian, I think, coined the phrase of shadow work, Carl Jung. And it's about this, about looking at the lesson. Like, you could do this. If I could do it, you could do it. You got to compartmentalize the emotion from the incident. And what is the lesson here for me to learn? Yes. And when you do that, that's when you start changing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to do anything other than that. And really, that's what self-forgiveness is all about.
Yeah.
It is actually, forgiving yourself means I could look at the incident, and this is the hard part, because we have been taught, mistakenly so, that if we're not, what do you call it when you constantly punish yourself, like
self-deprecation.
Yeah, if you're not constantly
right
telling yourself how bad you are, like a martyr, like somehow martyrism has become mistakenly seen as being virtuous.
Yeah.
And that's insane. That's just an idea that has gotten transformed through history it was never the intention.
Well, no, and if you believe in Christ and that,
yes,
he's done this for us, if you believe that, right? Not everyone believes that, but if you believe that, then you're by martyring yourself, it's like saying that he didn't do that for us.
Yeah. It's also, he taught this lesson over and over. He would say, you're forgiven, go and sin no more, meaning stop the self-imposed nonsense. Stop the negative, self-limiting beliefs you have been living in your mind up until this point that has caused you to do this thing that people now want to stone you for, and you feel you deserve to be stoned for.
Yeah.
You can change it all. The people will stop throwing stones, and you will learn the lesson and transform it. And your life keeps getting bigger this way.
Yeah.
If you just stand up, walk, and sin no more.
Yeah. When this has been coming up for me lately in these like guided meditations I've been doing, because sometimes it's easier to revisit. It's good to do a meditation where it helps you kind of disidentify, and then I see the memory, and then I look into the memory this is something Emilie Cady talks about, like what's it called? Reason from this higher state. I go, but God was there. I didn't know that at that time. But God, the same God that's here now with me that I've come to know was there too. And I'll actually see the memory and myself and reconnect. I go, oh, I'm getting goosebumps because I was looking at myself in like, I don't know, second grade or something that kept coming up. All of a sudden I go, wait, Mike Acuna, this guy was sitting next to me and he loved me. And Sean Jordan was right there. And I was thinking about this other stuff. But all around me were these loving people. And those are actually more real than what I was thinking in my head. And poof, like you said, I got the lesson. The emotion of that went away. And even now I can think of that classroom. I never thought of that. It was like literally like a shadowy memory that I never wanted to think about. Now I'm like, holy smokes, I was smarter than I thought. I had friends around me in ways that I didn't realize. This is such a beautiful thing. And I'm like, you coming on, because our friend Alicia couldn't come on, was like, you came into my head a couple days ago. You're going to come on next week. And then Alicia couldn't. Everything the universe is conspiring for you to be here to say the things that you're saying. And selfishly, I can say for my own benefit, because now I'm just like feeling the light coming through my vision, even like the world is suddenly like brightening up because you're helping me to reflect on what I've been doing this week sort of intuitively, but hearing it come from you, you know what I'm saying? And talking about it, it's really magnifying and multiplying the good that is occurring in my life right now. So thank you, Jeff.
Now that you said you were worried about something in second grade, but your friends were there loving you, I thought, wow, Ed's lucky. I did really reprehensible things.
Time to sit and meditate and let that go.
But isn't that funny how that could come up? But you got to just keep letting go of it.
Do you know what? I had to look this up. Martyr.
Yeah.
There's something called a martyr complex, known as martyr syndrome. And don't make this seem like that means you'll never get over it, because true psychology is a healing psychology, spiritual psychology. Jesus was a psychologist in a lot of ways. A lot of things that have happened in psychology over the history of it it has lost some of its healing, people's belief in the actual healing of stuff. Instead, people will Darrell talked about this last week, over-identifying, like almost like claim, oh, that's what I have. That's not what we're saying, but it shows that other people are going through it too, which hopefully makes it easier to let go. But it says, describes a psychological pattern where an individual consistently sacrifices their own needs and well-being to help others, often feeling resentful and victimized in the process. They may minimize their accomplishments, seek validation for their suffering, and struggle to set boundaries.
And look, all the things, the key characteristics are all cognitive distortions. If you just read the top one,
self-sacrifice, resentment and victimhood, difficulty setting boundaries, seeking validation, minimizing accomplishments. Yes.
So it's not a healthy state of being. I'm going to just read a quickie here.
And then we got to get Jeff to read this.
Then Jeff's got a reading. And this is another thing you don't want to do when you start or you have an idea to start something. Don't start talking about what you're going to do. Do a big, accomplish it and then let people find out about it, or do a formidable part of it and then share it with people. Get a foundation going before you start telling people,
yes,
oh, I'm excited now. I listened to Darrell and Ed, and I'm finally going to start doing A, B, and C, because I've made that mistake in the past, and I did nothing. Wait, what would my father used to call me a name? What the hell was it? Dude, something. It'll come to me. My father was like a New Jersey metaphysician. He would say things like, "You're smarter than that, you idiot. Think positive, you miserable bastard." So this thing was, oh God, what was it? Something about talking too much and doing nothing. God. All talk, no action. Talk, no action.
James Brown had a song, talking loud but saying nothing.
Yeah, but my father's was more metaphysical, because it's exactly what I'm going to read here. All talk,
I get what you're saying.
No action. And why is that the case? He was speaking metaphysical truths. And here it is. I'm going to read this from Joyce Kramer. I direct my thoughts and actions persistently and patiently toward the attainment of my goals. Do you talk too much about what you're going to do? It is possible to dissipate our energies through talking so much about what we are going to do that we don't get around to the actual doing. Idle conversation uses up our energies without accomplishing anything constructive. It also gives us a false high. I'm adding this part. It would give me a false high in the moment of feeling like I'm heading towards my accomplishment. But the letdown is awful because, we know the truth. The truth is I really haven't done anything.
This could be called LA syndrome as well.
It is LA syndrome, right? So idle conversation uses up our energies without accomplishing anything constructive. If you have something that you think you're going to get around to doing someday, why not start thinking in terms of now? Instead of using your energy and vitality talking about it, outline your project mentally. Outline just means write down some fun ideas about this, because those ideas are happening. That's why you're excited about doing it. You already have those thoughts. Don't do what I've done in the past. Well, what am I going to write down? I don't have any ideas about it. Darrell, you already have ideas about it. That's why you got excited about it. I'm talking about my old self, lessons learned, like Jeff brought out, and my new self. I just jot them down, and that starts fueling the fire. Follow this up with action. Act as you are shown the way. With your eye on the goal, that means imagining what it would like to be already accomplished. Move persistently and patiently toward it. Then you could be assured that you will do those things you really want to do. And you will be surprised at how much things start to come toward you as a result of just starting. And that's what Jeff's going to read for us. Did you get that?
Because I'm going to say this as a man. We are now entering the danger zone.
Okay,
when Darrell and Ed go too long, my hunger hits, his hunger hits. Also, I start wondering, why do I do this show? But let's hear. I'm only saying this to clear that. We're going to have a strong finish to the show.
Yeah.
We do want to hear this amazing Catherine Ponder reading that Jeff Spikes is about to share.
All right, let's do it. Dr. Emilie Cady once wrote.
Oh, no, that's the description of the show. Do you see the reading below that?
Yeah.
Scroll down.
Thank you for stopping me.
Yeah, no worries. We've had
Reading
that before.
by Catherine Ponder.
Yes, there we go.
Each of us is a magnet. And as a magnet, you do not have to force success and prosperity to yourself. Instead, you can develop that exalted, expectant, prosperous state of mind that is a magnet for all good things of the universe to hasten to you rather than entertaining the tense, critical, anxious, depressed, unforgiving, possessive state of mind that is a magnet for all kinds of trouble and failure. Since you can have the tangible and intangible equivalent of whatever you dare to choose, mentally entertain and radiate, stop thinking of things as apart from or outside of yourself. Stop thinking that people, things, circumstances, and conditions have power to hurt or harm you. Start realizing that nothing can stand between you and that good that you dare to choose mentally and radiate outward through your thoughts, feelings, words, and expectancies.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you don't have to bend yourself into the pretzel to make things happen. I have a quickie here, Ed, and then we're going to do our joke. This is also from Catherine Ponder, because what we're talking about here is...
Good thing I wore my coach shirt today.
Work up the mentality. Enjoy the thoughts you're enjoying already about the thing you desire to do, because that is actually the most important footwork you can do. Don't talk about it to others and dissipate the energy. But keep that energy going inside, because that will lead to the guidance of what steps to take next as well. And here it is. When inner methods, and that's what we're talking about here, persistent with our thinking. When inner methods of persistence are used, external persistence is not often needed. When you learn the power of prosperous thinking, you will learn how to work things out in your mental attitudes first. That means your mental approach to life, your emotional approach to life, rather than expend effort in running hither and yon, attempting to manipulate an outer result. The inner will produce the outer, but you must first persistently produce the inner. After you are convinced of an idea, you should persist in your conviction. If outer doors seem to close to you, do not hesitate. Persist in inner preparations. The inner realm of thought controls all outer action. When you get the right attitude, the joyful attitude, the outer world of results and personalities must conform to it. That is the law of mind action. It is my divine destiny to succeed, and it is God's business to help me. I expect and claim his divine help now.
That's great. And you know, the other day, I'm just writing down a lot of things lately of just observations of what's going on with me. And so the other day I just wrote, I think it was yesterday. And I'll start with, there's two viewpoints I've noticed. One of them is always present when there's certain tension in a certain part of my body. That's why I like what Jeff shared. When there's that tension, because I was telling Darrell, I used to think, I'll feel better when I heal. But the truth is, I heal when I feel better.
Yes.
Like the physical healing actually is way easier and comes quickly when I feel better first, really, mentally and emotionally. So I noticed that when that tension was there, there's like a sick feeling, like worried sick, or even like maybe I'm getting physically sick, and there's a desperate for help. I better call. Who am I going to call? Holding on tight, trying hard to figure it out and protecting myself, feeling sorry for myself, judging myself based on the past, angry and upset language, and then this belief that healing doesn't happen. So it's like but when I notice when I feel good and we're on this beam that we're talking about, I feel a sense of wholeness. I feel I recognize that I'm already there. I'm already well. I'm already whole. I feel very naturally compelled to bless others. I have so much to give others. I'm inspired and propelled forward to good. It's easy, and it often has to do with letting go more than holding on to anything. Because it's really letting go of my gifts, letting go of just letting it all go and letting it all flow. So Jeff Spikes, we want to thank you for coming on. We have a story to share and a song to sing. Anything else you want to share before we get on our way?
No, you guys are amazing men doing the work and changing the world in all you do, man. I love you guys.
We love you.
Yes.
All right. A while back, Jeff Spike's teacher told her young class to ask their parents for a family story with a moral at the end of it and return the next day to tell their stories. In the classroom the next day, Joe gave his example first.
My dad is a farmer and we have chickens. One day we were taking lots of eggs to the market in a basket on the front seat of the truck, and we hit a big bump in the road. The basket fell off the seat and all the eggs broke. The moral of the story is not to put all your eggs in one basket.
The teacher replied,
Very good.
Next, Mary said,
We are farmers too. We had 20 eggs waiting to hatch, but when they did, we only got 10 chicks. The moral of this story is not to count your chickens before they hatch.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good moral. Again, Jeff's teacher was very pleased.
Very good.
And now it was Jeff Spike's turn to tell his story.
My dad told me this story about my Aunt Karen. Aunt Karen was a flight engineer in the war, and her plane got hit. She had to bail out over enemy territory, and all she had was a bottle of whiskey, a machine gun, and a machete.
Jeff's teacher was intrigued.
Go on. Aunt Karen drank the whiskey on the way down to prepare herself. Then she landed right in the middle of 100 enemy soldiers. She took out 70 of them with the machine gun until she ran out of bullets. Wow. Then she took out 20 more with the machete till the blade broke. And then she took out the last 10 with her bare hands.
The teacher was shocked.
Good heavens, Jeff. What did your father say was the moral of the story?
Jeff smiled.
Stay away from Aunt Karen when she's been drinking.
Oh, my God. Stay away from Aunt Karen when she's been drinking. Thank you all for being a part of Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe to the podcast anywhere you get podcasts, share the show, review the show, comment on the show.
And help keep the show commercial free by going on Patreon.
And most of all, don't you let nothing stand in your way. I want you to listen to every word I say. Every word I say. Ain't no stopping us now.
No.
We're on the move. Ain't no stopping us now. We got the groove. Woohoo! All right, just in time for Darrell's wife to walk by and say goodbye. Jeff Spikes, we love you. Everyone out there on YouTube and podcast land, have a great week, and let us know how you're doing.
Thanks, Jeff.
Love you guys.